What's up? So, I'm going to explain perfectly why these Christians who hold their high horses against trannies, because apparently we're sins, why, in reality, it should be us trannies holding the high horse over the fucking Christians, bitch. So, I I've never actually read a full Bible, and I probably never will. But the internet, you can research shit on. And then afterwards, after researching this, I then asked ChatGPT. But what I have come to discover is the real sin is if you're trans, not transitioning, you're actually committing a sin in these Christian people's law book. So I pretty much right here I have gotten ChatGPT to summarize it all up. And what does ChatGPT say? The Bible never talks about being transgender in the way we understand it today. Concepts of gender identity, dysphoria, and transition simply don't exist in the ancient world. That said, some Christians point to certain passages they believe relate to gender dysphoria, to gender or sex differences. Here are the main ones usually mentioned and how they're understood differently. So, ChatGPT has a whole thing saying passages sometimes cited against being trans. Okay, 1. Deuteronomy with 5. A woman shall not wear a man's clothing, nor shall a man put on a woman's clothing, for whoever does these things is an abomination to the Lord your God. And it then says some interpret this as forbidding cross-dressing or gender transition. And then others note this is part of Israelite cultural laws like clothing made of mixed fabrics, which Christians don't follow today, and not a universal command. Well, what do I have to say on that? Well, that pretty much says, if you were trans, fucking transition or else, bitch. Because, if you're a woman, you shouldn't be wearing a man's clothing, apparently. So, you're born trans, yeah? So, if you don't transition, you are just a woman wearing a man's clothing anyway. So, woo! Baby. And also, those who interpret that as transitioning is a sin, they're transphobic motherfuckers, because they don't fucking believe that being trans means that you are, what you were born mentally. They believe that you change into being trans, and that when you transition, you're still a man. Like, fuck off, mate. Like, if you're MTF, they believe that you're still a man. Like, fuck off. Like, no. When you transition, you're just coming out and expressing who the fuck you are. So, hey, you want to sin? Just don't transition. But, if you transitioned, you ain't sinning, bitch. You're doing the right thing according to this Bible book thing. Okay, so number 2, what it says, Genesis. So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them, male and female. He created them. And then it says, some argue this mean God created 2 fixed sexes. Others point out that male and female doesn't exclude diversity, so the focus is on the dignity of humans made in God's image. Yes! We're all made in good diversity. And what I say to this bitch is that, you know, when you're born, if everything's in God's image, you were meant to transition. You were born so you could transition. You were born trans so you could transition, bitch. And, you know, so nothing wrong about that, yeah? And then number 3, also I forgot to say, Genesis is 1:27, and then number 3 we've got 1 Corinthians 6:9. Oh, my favorite image, baby. I mean, favorite number, 6'9", 69, bitch. My favorite sex position is not actually, I rather a different sex position, but anyway, 6'9" to 10. In some translations, the Greek words, it doesn't even say a verse here, but it says in some translations, the Greek words maloki and aristonti appear in list of sin. Older Bibles sometimes rendered maloki as effeminate. So what's this saying here? That being effeminate is a sin? Oh, wow. Well, the nature of the universe, right, is that everything is of masculine and feminine energy. So I just think that this is just, what's it called again? What's that word, like, where, like, men hate women? Because, like, a lot of men hate women. I forget the word. If I can think of it while editing, I'll write it on the screen. And then also, it says, most modern scholars agree Maloki referred to moral weakness, or men exploited sexually, not transgender identity. Actually, okay, now I get what it's saying. So, men that are effeminate, it's saying sin. Well, bitch, read up on some Carl Jung and shit. You don't want to get possessed by the anima or the animus. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, so if your core gender identity is male, you don't want to, like, get possessed by the femininity of it. You want to do it in a way where you are, masculine if you're a man at your core identity. If your core identity is female, you want to show, that you're feminine at your core, but you can't let any of those overtake. But being trans is a bit different, There is a difference between being possessed by the anima or the animus. So, yeah. Like, if you're a trans woman, like, before you transition, you gotta really make sure that you're not a feminine man, Or if you're a trans masc, you gotta make sure that you're not a masculine woman at your core, you know what I mean? You gotta make sure, yes, I am, like, if you're a trans woman, yes, I am a trans woman at my core, and this cannot be changed, sort of thing. Like, or else transitioning, kind of, you don't do it consciously, is really stupid. So yeah. And now, there's a section that says broader biblical themes that affirm trans people according to many Christians today. Okay, Galatians 3:28. There is neither Jew nor Gentile, slave nor free, male nor female, for you are all one in Christ, Jesus Christ. Bitch! You're on point. Everything is fucking one, baby. Everything is one. But, I don't see how that's related to being trans. And then it says identity in Christ is not limited by gender, and I totally feel that, baby. I totally feel that. And then Isaiah 56:3-5. God welcomes eunuchs, people who don't fit gender sexual norms of the time, giving them a name better than sons and daughters. Like, if you look at the history of eunuchs, like, you know, there is an interesting history on that for sure. But maybe we get to that in another video. And then Matthew 19:12, Jesus mentions eunuchs, some born that way, some made so, some choosing celibacy without condemnation. Many see this as showing God's love for gender diverse people. Baby, yes, queen. Yes, queen. All the way, baby. Okay, so in summary, the ChatGPT thing says the Bible doesn't explicitly forbid being transgender. A few verses are sometimes used against it, but their historical context is very different from modern gender identity. Many Christians, theologians, and denominations affirm that trans people are loved, valued, and fully included in God's creation. And then it says, do you want me to break down how different Christian denominations today interpret these verses? Some affirming, some rejecting trans identities. Well, baby, I think that's enough info in this video. But hey, like, you know, I'm pretty sure we know how a lot of modern Christians are with trans people. Majority that I've been around fucking hate trans people. So I was like, hey, let's make this fucking video and show these fuckers that they're wrong and they're sinning against their own fucking religion, bitch. But anyway, I hope this fucking video was insightful. But anyway, remember to subscribe, bitches! And also, it would be interesting to hear what all you people think, like, you know, in the comments as well. What your take on this is. But, Jesus, we're gonna have a lot of butthurt Christians in here, baby! Bye!